Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology, coming to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, this show is brought to you by Million Kids. We are a nonprofit organization in Southern California, and we are busy. Oh my gosh. People saying, how are you doing during this COVID? I'm just like, crazy, crazy, crazy. Never in my lifetime have we been so busy with cases. And it's good in some ways. In some ways, it is a bit scary. You see, Million Kids is an organization that combats human trafficking of all kinds, sex trafficking, labor trafficking, foreign national trafficking, gang trafficking, sex trafficking of our kids, sextortion, that's blackmail with a photo, combating child pornography. I've got a big presentation tonight to a wonderful group of people on that. And so it keeps you darn busy because over the last year, we have been, first of all, inundated with cases of kids that are living on the internet, and very young kids, long before they go on through puberty. It's a crazy thing we're doing in our society of giving our kids phones before they go through puberty because they get the technology. They don't get the part about what a pedophile is because nobody's had that adult talk with them about sex. And so you put them on an adult device without preparing them. It's kind of a crazy time that we're doing this. And it's going to get crazier and crazier as all of these apps are accelerating. And your kids are now talking to more people than they ever possibly could have any time in the past. So many of our apps now, some of these followers on things like TikTok or Byte, they might have 5 million followers. And they think they're doing really good. But if you have 5 million people, at least 1% of them are pedophiles. So what's that, 50,000? So you better get your kid ready for the real world. If you're going to put them on there, they need to understand the world they're living in. Well, what I want to talk to you about today is that I, Opal Singleton, I guess I didn't introduce myself. Maybe I did, but as Opal Singleton Million Kids, we serve as the training and outreach coordinator for the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. Now, that is ran out of the Riverside County Sheriff Department, Sheriff Chad Bianco over there. By the way, I want to give them all a shout out. I see across the nation of so many cities that are pulling back and so many counties that are pulling back on their law enforcement and, refusing to prosecute and refusing to enforce enhanced sentencing and letting sex offenders out early and like that. And Riverside County especially is just blessed, in my opinion, to have a fantastic Sheriff Chad Bianco. He doesn't know I'm saying this, by the way. And also our District Attorney DA Mike Hestrin. We are fortunate to have those two men right at a time like this in history, because when everybody else is pulling back resources, they double down, and especially in the area of trafficking, because they see our kids in danger online. They see, gangs that are trying to do human trafficking. You're seeing coyotes trying to do human trafficking. We had the case that we talked about a week ago with the Paredes family case out of Colton was trafficking of unaccompanied minors. We are seeing foreign national trafficking like you can't believe. So where everybody else is cutting back, they doubled down, and we doubled the size of our task force here in Riverside County. And I'm proud as punch that they did that. They have done a tremendous job at keeping your community safer and also rescuing kids that are out there or adults that are out there that are being violated. Now, I don't want to overlook San Bernardino. I don't report to them like I do in Riverside, but they are some fantastic people over there also. The San San Bernardino Human Trafficking Task Force is run a little bit different. It's funded different than Riverside, but they are doing a dynamite job also. And not too long ago, I had Fontana Police Department over there, my buddy Chief Green. I think the world of them also because that group is focusing on crimes against children. And yeah, they do the normal policing. Trust me, they're all over the place. But they have a crackerjack team plus a dog named Goose. I was very impressed with that. In fact, I did an insider alert about a dog named Goose, and that's their dog. So right here in our counties, cheer up, folks. We've got good support people when it comes to law enforcement and prosecution going against the worst of the worst. By the way, I'm going to, during the rest of this show, give you several Million Kids Insider Alerts. These are breaking news on local cases, but I also do insider alerts about the latest technologies that are out there and how they're changing. I'm following one right now. This thing called Diem is, Facebook was going to introduce Libra. And it was shut down, and now they're coming back around with something called Diem, D-I-E-M. It's like a Bitcoin. It's a cryptocurrency, only it will be tied to social media. This, of course, if they get it through Congress, and that will be the challenge. So one of our insider alerts is to keep you posted on technologies and also the latest legislation and what's happening. So if you want to subscribe to Million Kids Insider Alerts, just go to Million Kids, M-I-L-L-I-O-N, Million Kids, K-I-D-S, millionkids.org, and sign up and get your friends to sign up for those insider alerts and give us your information and share those with everyone you know. I created that out of a couple of things. One is I was one of those corporations that for no explanation was taken off of Facebook last October. And it hurt, baby. I mean, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. We lost thousands and thousands of followers. I've been doing this 10 years. And they would give us no answer as to why they selected us to remove us, but they removed about 70,000 people. We believe it was because that we were saying and trying to encourage people to vote yes on Proposition 20, because I personally believe that child sex crime should be a violent crime in the state of California. However, Jeff Zuckerberg's wife, donated $5 million to make sure that got defeated. And I was trying to get you all to vote yes on it. It was one of those backwards written things. So it did not pass. And it is heartbreaking to me that sex trafficking and child sex crimes are not violent crimes, but the public has spoken twice now. And so therefore it will not be considered a violent crime. But in the course of that, I was taken off Facebook and we lost thousands of followers. So we have rebuilt. If you're on Facebook, I'd appreciate it if you'd go to IE Million Kids. That stands for Inland Empire Million Kids. We're back on only under IE Million Kids. And I hope you'll sign up and like us so that you can get announcements that way. But the purpose of having you go to millionkids.org and sign up for that insider alert is because I want to keep you up to date what is happening in your community especially, but also across the nation in child sex crimes and combating them any way that we can. And that is how we're going to do it, okay? So about every second or third day, I don't harass you. Every now and then I weekly beg for money because if you want to keep us on the air and doing the work we do of sitting with parents and kids, we need to have that funding or we can't do that. And so I'm not real good at doing that, but every now and then I do hit you for it. But for the most part, I want you to be educated because this stuff is changing at the speed of light. And you might attend a symposium somewhere or a presentation, maybe even one of mine. By the way, I do training. If you want in-depth training, go to Children's Fund. Children's Fund, it's an organization out of San Bernardino, and look through their training sessions. sessions. I put on 5 in-depth training sessions, and they're free. You can even get a certificate on them. They got a grant to be able to put me on the opportunity to give you advanced training. So that's Children's Fund in San Bernardino, childrensfund.org, and you might want to sign up. So those are all resources for you to stay educated. Now, what I'm going to do starting next section is we're going to talk about all the cases that have taken place in the last 3 weeks right here in Riverside County that our task forces are on fire. That is, about 13 people working night and day, going out and getting the bad guys. And I'm going to start as soon as we come back from break, and I'm going to give you a sample of Million Kids Insider Alerts and also some of these cases. And we're going to ask you to get involved, and maybe you know something about it. This is Opal Singleton. We'll be right back.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, there are many good restaurants in the Inland Empire, but really great restaurants are hard to find. Let me tell you about the Toasted Barrel in Corona. It's a trendy, upscale steakhouse with great pasta and seafood. It's a fantastic choice for birthdays and anniversaries or just that special night out with your loved one and friends. Inland Empire magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant and Brunch for the past 3 years. The owners, Ed and Shirley, are friendly and attentive to your needs. If you're a prime rib connoisseur, this place is for you. Go ahead and try it out. The Toasted Barrel, located at 1300 El Sobrante Road in Corona. Or Google them at Toasted Barrel to make reservations. I guarantee you're going to love it. Be sure and tell Ed and Shirley that Opal sent you. It will be a night you'll never forget.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and I'm going to give you a series of cases that have taken place in the last few weeks right here in the Inland Empire. And all of these are from our insider alerts to give you an idea of what this is about. Well, the first case I'm going to talk about is a man by the name of Christian Meeks from Moreno Valley. He is charged with human trafficking, pimping, and domestic abuse. So this case started in January when the Moreno Valley Sheriff Station had a young lady there by the name of I won't give you her name. She was a 19-year-old female, And she was engaged in prostitution. And when they talked to her, it became apparent that she was really being abused. This is true sex trafficking, okay? And so let me explain to you about the law and how that works. If you are under 18 in the state of California, and you're engaged in commercial sex, that's a fancy word for prostitution, you are automatically a victim of human trafficking. And you don't have to prove anything. You know, we can see it, we prove it, and like that, and you have the right to receive a lot of services. And Riverside County is just so blessed to have 6 really, really great service providers. Whether you're a teenager or an adult, whether you want to stay just a couple of days and need safe haven, or you want a 2-year recovery, we pretty well have it covered in Riverside County. Some great organizations out there: Operation Safe House of the Desert, Rebirth Homes, REACH, which is the old CASA of Hemet, Run to Rescue, Safe Family Justice Centers are all dedicated to providing victim services. So if you're under 18, you're automatically a victim. But this girl is 19 and she's in prostitution. Now, I'm going to tell you that's against the law. And if you're in prostitution as an adult, you will probably be arrested. However, if you have force, fraud, fear, or coercion, and you can show that to our task force, we will help you get out of prostitution and be a victim of human trafficking where you can receive services. And that is what happened here. We had a 19-year-old girl who said, I'm not doing this by myself. This guy will not let me get free. He's threatening me. He beats me. He gives me quotas. And that is very, very common. And so what happened is that she said that she was being managed by a pimp. So she said she was being abused, and she was interviewed, and she was provided those services. So on February 3rd, so our team, this was back in January, I don't know what date, but our team got busy and did an undercover kind of research on him and determined that he had a court record, that he had a prior conviction for grand theft, but that based on her allegations, the 19-year-old girl who said that she was being victimized, they did an investigation and a traffic stop was conducted on February 3rd in Moreno Valley, where he was detained and interviewed and booked at Robert Presley Detention Center. So he is currently being held on $550,000 in bail. And quite frankly, he was looking at more than 20 years in prison. You see, human trafficking is not a victimless crime. And this girl is being treated horribly and forced into going out and doing commercial sex by her pimp. And for forced or coerced, let me get that correct. So he was looking at a pretty long time when, in fact, as I understand it, he was even thinking of a plea deal. But since then, 2 more people have come forward, 2 more victims or 2 more people that have been in contact with him that can accelerate and give him more charges. And so at this time, the potential sentence is being reconsidered. Now, here's where I want you to come in. If you know Christian Meeks and you have any information about him, the photographs of him are on our website, okay, and on our Facebook page. They're on Million Kids Insider Alerts. Christian Meeks is his name. Now, we're looking for any other victims that may have been exposed to him or been engaged with him. So I'm going to ask you to contact the lead investigator on the task force. Her name is Investigator Bridget Rysecki. Her phone number is 951-442-0392 or 951-955-1700. So let's try this again. 951-442-0392 or 951-955 1700 and say you want to talk to her about Christian Meeks. Now, since this is radio and you forget all of that, if you forget, you can contact me at Opal at Million Kids and I'll forward it over to her. Now, for me, I am not 911, okay? So do not, if you're in trouble, contact Opal at millionkids.org because it'll take me a while. I have 7 email accounts and it'll take me a while to get there. But we will get the information over. So I want you to be aware of that. So now I want to talk about some other cases that we have had here in the Inland Empire. So with that, the one I'm going to talk about next is Stephen Rawley. And in this case, this is another case where it got started and then we got received additional information. So Stephen Rawley is 35 years old. I want to make sure both in the case of Christian Meeks and the case of Stephen Rawley, these are alleged charges because they have not completed that court case and the rule of law. So at this point, until they're sentenced, it is alleged, and I want to make that very clear. So Stephen Rawley is 35 years old from Corona, and he was arrested. What happened is this case started when RCAHT, the task force, received a referral from the Hemet Police Department. So one of the things I really want you to see here in Riverside County is how well our police departments work together. They are tremendous resources. And when I see this defunding of police across the nation, it just makes me ill to think about the number of people that are going to be violated, and there will be nobody to call because there isn't someone out there. But in Riverside County, we have a strong law enforcement, and they're good people, both the men and the women there. And as you saw in the Corona Police Department, the Hemet Police Department, the not San Marino, that's another town, Moreno Valley, all of us work together. So this case started in December 20 when our task force received a referral from the Hemet Police Department about the possible sex trafficking of a minor. So before we go too far, I want you to understand what we're talking about. These are 15-year-old kids, okay, 17-year-old kids, 14-year-old kids. They fall in love on the internet, they meet up with somebody, and the next thing you know, they are lured into trafficking. And that is a lot of the work that we do with Million Kids, okay? We go out into schools and we educate kids about how trafficking works. We do a whole lot of broadcasts and presentations, and we're getting back to making those live presentations again. And I'm really excited about that. I've already made a couple now, and that's going well at a large church here. But corporations, large churches, going into schools, that is what we're known for. I myself am a post-certified law enforcement trainer, so I often will train first responders and social workers and therapists and like that, because so many of our kids are very young and they're getting caught up into this. And that is what happened here with Rawley. And so in the course of this, Stephen Rawley, 35 years old, we got a message from the Hemet Police Department that a 15-year-old was being trafficked by him. Now, one of the things that happened with him is over in Arizona a couple of years before, there are independent watch groups that, and I don't recommend this, by the way, it's high liability and I just don't like the sound of it, but they often go online and they trick people into thinking they're going to meet up with a minor, and then when they get there, they take photos of them, they make videos, they post it, and they try to shame them. It's a great way to get sued, by the way, if you're wrong in any of this. But that happened to Mr. Rawley way back in 2018 in Arizona, and our investigators picked that up. So this isn't his first rodeo, is it? So I'm going to take a break here. We're going to come right back. I'm going to finish telling you about the Stephen Rawley case. This is Opal Singleton, and this is millionkids.org, Exploited Crimes and Technology. We will be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer. Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton and we are talking about Million Kids Insider Alerts. This is breaking news. These are case analysis. This is all about technology and how it works to, especially in crime and crime solving. So we are talking about the case of Stephen Rawley, allegedly involved in sex trafficking of a minor. Again, the case started in December. They received a referral from Hemet about a girl who was picked up there doing commercial sex. She's 15 years old, and it comes out that Mr. Rawley may have been involved in this. They do a background check. Sure enough, he was picked up by one of these vigilante groups out of Arizona 2 years before. Showing up thinking he's going to have sex with a 15-year-old. They post these phony ads, you show up, and then they humiliate you by videoing it and putting it out on social media all over the place. And he was out there, was on YouTube, and that particular YouTube is on our website on this Insider Alert if you want. So that's where they're going with this. What happens then is on February 2nd, they get a search warrant for his vehicle and his apartment. At the time that they did that and they served the search warrant, they felt like there was sufficient evidence. They picked up some numerous electronic devices, and they ended in the arrest of Mr. Rawley. The charges are going to be contact with a minor with intent to commit kidnapping or sex offenses, going to an arranged meeting with a minor to commit sex offenses, unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor over age 3 years younger than the perpetrator. In other words, she's 15, he's, 23, I think you said. All are felonies. Let me see how old he was here. He's 35 and she's 15, so it's certainly more than 3 years. So that is where we were at, and we put out one of our insider alerts asking you to contact the deputy, RCAHT deputy, Mario Chavez. I'll give you that information right now while we're here. Mario, if you know anything about Stephen Rawley, you can contact Deputy Mario Chavez, 951-422-1141. Or 951-955-1700. Okay, I want to do that one more time. Deputy Mario Chavez, 951-422-1141. Make sure that you're referencing the Stephen Rawley case. So what happened is that Million Kids put out our insider alerts, and the sheriff department also has their own website, and they put it out there asking for additional victims. Well, what happened at that point then is another victim, a couple more victims came forward and had a lot more information. And so when they did, what happened is that he is getting into a lot more trouble, as it turns out. A couple of more victims have come forward. Actually, it's the one that I'm thinking of, a young lady from Temecula. She is a minor. She saw that on social media and said that she was sexually exploited for money through social media, and she has come forward. So we believe that there are more victims. In our experience, when you get a pedophile or someone that is pimping out minors, there's a whole lot more than one victim. And so we are asking you one more time, if you know anybody related to the Stephen Rawley case, it is Deputy Mario Chavez, 951-422-1141, or Opal at Million Kids. Now, I do want to throw that in. We are not 911. Do not call us and thinking we're going to grab something and come out immediately. These are long-term undercover cases, and that's how you report it. If you see anyone in trouble, every time you call 911, and maybe you can assist them in that way. Well, we got some more cases I want to share with you about. Here's one right here with Marino Aaron Lopez. He is out of Palm Desert. In this case, Marino Lopez is 30 years old. Again, he has an insider alert on our webpage. He's booked for suspicion of arranging with a minor for lewd purposes and committing a felony while on bail. I want to bring that out, folks. I know that I'm opinionated because I work in this business, okay? I see a lot more than you guys see. But it just, it just frosts my cookies when I see what's going on all around us, where they're, letting sex offenders out on bail. Really? That's crazy. Where they're doing away with the enhanced sentencing over in LA. Do you guys realize what that means? If a guy gets 30 years in prison, say 10 years for sex trafficking, and say, 10 years for a gang and 5 years for a gun and 5 years because he's a sex offender, he gets 30 years. But what's happening now in LA is they're doing away with that enhanced sentencing. When the parole comes up, if he serves 7 of his first 10 years, he's eligible for parole. And now with Proposition 57 and the failure of Proposition 20 to go through, we're looking at potentially, I'm not going to say all of them will, but potentially up to 20,000 sex offenders getting out early. And, the DA over in LA is encouraging the prosecutors, not just encouraging, saying, don't even go to the parole hearings and try to enforce those enhanced sentences. And so, in my opinion, it's going the wrong direction because these guys never quit. That's my experience in this. So back to my case, what happened here is that we had a lead come in on a gentleman by the name of Marino Lopez. He was arrested and booked for suspicion of arranging with a minor for lewd purposes and committing a felony while on bail. So he's already been picked up. Okay, he's on bail, and here he goes again. So our team went out and conducted an undercover operation. They posed as a 13-year-old. Lopez bought right into it. He initiated an online conversation, arranged to meet the online decoy with intent to engage in lewd sex acts with a minor. Now, I'm still going to say alleged because he hasn't been through a court of law, but do you get what's going on here? He's already on bail, and he's still responding, thinking he's going to meet with the 13-year-old. Well, RCAHT arranged to meet him, and he was arrested for attempting to meet who he thought was a 13-year-old to engage in sex acts, committing a felony on court release, possession of a controlled substance, so who knows what that is, possession of paraphernalia, and possession of a dirk and a dagger, okay? I have a picture of that dagger on our Million Kids Insider Alert for this case here. And so I want you to see this dagger. I hope that you'll actually come on to Insider Alerts and look for the case of Marino Lopez, because you say to yourself, he thinks he's meeting up with a 13-year-old girl, and he's bringing a dagger, and he's already out on bail. I mean, really? Okay, we think that he has more than one victim because these guys always do. So in this case, I want you to contact the lead investigator, Julio Aswaguera. I can't say his name. Anyway, Julio, okay? And that is area code 760-836-1600. 760-836-1600. 1600. I'm going to do it one more time since I messed it up. 760-836-1600, and tell them that it is about the Marino Lopez case and that you would like to give them some more information. So what I want you to see here, I'm going to give you some more cases in the next segment here, but what I want you to see is that human trafficking is on fire all over Riverside County, and our team is really doing a great job combating that. And I'm proud as I can be to serve with them and to be part of it. So it's really, really good to watch our officers, and they're men and women. These are the bravest of the brave, in my opinion. People who go out and get guys who hurt children sexually or hurt women sexually, and sometimes men sexually, and say, this is enough. This is not taking place in our county. And if you're out there, we're going to find you. And I would remind you that sex buying is, first of all, against the law. And second of all, it is not a victimless deal. Okay. So I'm going to talk about a massage parlor case when I come back. You think you can go into a massage parlor and have a little fun, maybe get laid, and nobody gets hurt. But first of all, what nobody's telling you is many of these are connected to cartels and big organized crime. And they sometimes take your picture. And I'm going to tell you, you're exposing yourself to criminals, but you're also exposing yourself to an opportunity to get arrested. So we're up against that break, folks. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at RE/MAX Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at RE/MAX Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590. The Answer.
Hello and welcome back. This is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technologies, and we are talking about sex trafficking cases that are taking place right here in Riverside County. So we've had two or three now, two at least, with trafficking of minors, and some of them pretty darn young. We have one that is out on bail already and trying to do it again. And we have people that do this over and over. So it's hard to understand how that works. I honestly believe that in many of these cases, they have a sex addiction and they need to get help. And if you know anybody, I know that sounds like crazy, but if you know people that need to do this, get them some help, please, because the kids that are being violated in our community, their lives will never be the same. They will always bear the scars of what they endured. And that is true of whether they're 13 years old, 15, 17, or in the case of the one, she was 19. But very young people whose lives are changed forever. Well, we have one out in Palm Desert, our east area there, and this involves a massage parlor. And I want to just kind of bring this out because there are many good massage places, by the way. I would never downgrade a massage. I love them myself, but there are illicit ones. And if you know of illicit massage parlors in your neighborhood, you can write to me at opal@millionkids.org. Again, I am not 911, okay? But if you know of something where there's a lot of men coming and going late at night, you see the ads, you see things that just don't look right, let us know so that we can investigate that. Well, this is a woman who is accused of running a brothel out in the Mission Lakes Boulevard area of Desert Hot Springs. Her name is Yang He. Yang He. She's 47 years old. She was arrested and taken to Beaumont for maintaining a brothel and soliciting prostitution. Now, there were no victims involved in this particular one, but what happened is that we got some information that there was illicit activity taking place there. On Wednesday, April 14th, what happened is our team went out there during the service of the search warrant. Yang Ying was arrested for maintaining a brothel and solicitation of prostitution. And so this is a place called Missy Spa Massage. And so I just want to bring this up because if you are aware about this case, someone from Missy Spa or Yang Ying He, we would like to know about it. Also, if there are other massage parlors in your area that you feel might be illicit massage parlors, I will, you can notify me if you need to, but on this one here, the investigator is Damien Betvitas, and just go by Damien. 760-836-1600. 760-836-1600. You can refer to the Yang Ying He case or the massage parlor case, and that will help them get new information. So what I want you to see is right here in our community, we have all kinds of sex trafficking. From the Paredes case that was going on 3 weeks ago, if you missed that show, I'll just kind of get you up to date. It was operated by a matriarch, if you will, a 65-year-old woman out of Mexico who recruited 14, 15, 16-year-old girls. She said her family owned a bunch of businesses up in Ventura and Colton and San Bernardino area. And she turned them over to coyotes. That's the first problem because now they owe people money. They got up here and they did not get to work in the business as they thought they would. You see, many of these people that are being brought in are being violated. They are charged before they get here, and they're charged after they get here. And if you don't pay, you often get into violation, sexual violation and labor violation, where you don't get paid and you get abused, and it can be very difficult. In this particular case, they were set up in massage parlors and skincare places and like that, and they were all owned by the family. It was her daughter and son that were running it from Ventura to out to Colton. This is all about money laundering back to the cartels, by the way. They bring in their kids and put them in these massage parlors. And then the next thing you know, all that money that you don't, they have sex with you, but you don't get the money. The money goes to the owner of the massage parlor or the person that's running the sex trafficking ring. And in those cases, that goes and is money laundered. In the case of Paredes, it was through a fashion spot out of Fontana. And I'm wrong on that. It was out of Colton. And that money is by the tens of millions of dollars goes back to Mexico. So we have trafficking of our kids that fall in love with the wrong guy and get sucked in. But we also have trafficking of Asian groups that are, and this is not Asian hate, by the way. I know a lot of lovely Asian people. I know a lot of them. But in all groups, they're there. And many of these girls that are put in these massage parlors are brought in from China and Taiwan and Thailand, and they don't speak English, and they don't get the money, and they are in debt bondage. They owe their family, their coyote or their agent, their whoever brought them in. Sometimes they come in legally under student visas or work visas. Sometimes they're smuggled across the Mexico border. We've run into many of the Asian community that speak Spanish, and they have to pay more, and then they have to earn more once they get here. But it does not matter what ethnicity they are. No man, woman, or child should be sexually exploited. They are victims when they get here and they're put in those places. They're in debt bondage. They're treated horribly, and they owe somebody money, and they do not get to keep the money. And this is taking place in our community. So we have to be aware of it. We have to do what's right and report it. So my name is Opal Singleton, and we have been combating this here in the Inland Empire for 12 years now. And we work with the Riverside County Sheriff Department, that whole team over there, the Human Trafficking Task Force. Just admire them greatly. They are just very strong and good people that are out looking for our kids that are being abused, or out looking for victims that they can get them out of the life and get them into services. But more important, that the perpetrator is stopped and put away. Whether that perpetrator is a female or a male, it doesn't matter. If you are sexually abusing someone or labor abusing someone, then you should pay the price. And we need to find the people and free them. And that is taking place right here in Riverside County, as you can tell, in big numbers. That's just a couple of weeks' activity that I gave you to show you just how real this is. So this show is brought to you by Million Kids, and I hope that some of you will consider sending us a donation and helping support our work. Let us know who you are and what you're doing out there. You can always write to me at Opal, O-P-A-L, at Million Kids if you know of something like this. Again, not 911, okay? But just let us know the information. We'll pass it along to the right people, especially if you know anything about the cases that I talked about with Stephen Rawley and Marina Lopez and like that. I would truly appreciate it. And Christian Meeks also, were seriously seeking information on that particular case. So you can assist us by doing that. But I also want to say thank you to each and every one of you that have supported this show, both in your prayers and also with your money. I really, really appreciate it. We can't do this without you, especially coming out of COVID. It's been a long, hard year. We have a movie that'll be coming out before too long for kids. It'll be in June. We had hoped to have it in April, but because of COVID, it's delayed. But it's going to be a darn good movie, and it will have about a 45-minute documentary to educate your kids about where naked photos go when you hit send on the internet and why you do not want to do that, okay? In fact, if your child is not even through puberty, they need to at least understand where naked photos go when you hit send if you are going to put them on the internet, because these kids are good. They're sharp. Now, I get excited about this because kids don't want to be violated, and they listen, and that's what we do. We talk to them, and just in the last couple of weeks, we've had so many cases of kids being blackmailed because they've sent a naked photo, or they've gotten themselves in trouble with some guy on the internet they shouldn't be. So that's what we do. We work with parents, and we work with kids, and we intervene. So this is Opal Singleton. You folks put your arms around your kids this week and let them know how proud you are. Look at your spouse. Tell them you love them. You have a great week, and we'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock on AM 590.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.